think at the end of the day, Jada's just exhausted. They're just exhausted. Like we've been beating them up for like a year, like with blogs, with the what was it, entanglements. It's just and people saying
that's not even. By the way, all of that stuff. That's not even. That could be part of it, but I'm telling you, people be having issues that we know nothing about. People be dealing with stresses that we know nothing about. All that stuff we see on the internet, they probably don't give two fucks about that shit.
Here's some real shit.
Probably seen her cry.
I mean,
that's what
Will Smith,
and it's not even that. It's that on top of just dealing with the stress of being Will. You know how stressful that day probably was for Will?
Oh, unbelievably stressful. Is this finally the time? Am I actually going to get it?
You got 50 people trying to get in the Oscars, trying to get in with you. You got family members pulling you this way. Family members pulling you that way. He just stressed the fuck out. And probably people just clowning. Like, they were making jokes prior.
I mean, this is
to Chris's joke.
This is a tame joke for Chris. I mean, Chris told the president's wife that she should be the first one on her knees sucking his dick.
Man,
that's and nobody had a problem with that. Nobody was like, "Yo, that's disrespectful." Everybody's like, "That's hilarious." Hillary Clinton should do that.
But if the president smacked him in his face, who could say something?
Chris's joke.
Yeah, like I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like,
you have the right.
I'm giving you the right that because I understand you're a comedian. So this is what you do, and you guys and I do have respect for comedians, and I hate that freedom of speech has changed so much that you do got to watch what you say at different times. But I say whatever you want to say, but just got to deal with the consequences of what you say. I say it all the
time.
Can I say one thing about that? I agree with you guys. Like, I never tell someone how they should react to a joke. If they're offended, if they're upset, if they're angry, if they're dealing with a personal issue, a medical condition, I can't tell you how to act. But there are laws that are in place. And that's where I think the Oscars failed.
Will got enough money for that lawsuit.
That's true, but I think this is where the Oscars failed Chris and made Chris look like an absolute clown.
I think
Will came up and slapped him, and then he got to stay there for the rest of the Oscars. If you do that in a basketball game, you get kicked the fuck out. You do that in a football game, you get kicked the fuck out. You do that in any other establishment, you do that at TGI Fridays, there's not a single business on this planet where you can walk up to someone, put hands on them outside of a boxing match, and keep it real. If you slap somebody outside of the ring, you get kicked the fuck out.
What you saw was a level of celebrity privilege.
No, what you saw was them only caring about themselves. They knew he was winning that award.
Celebrity privilege.
Yeah.
So it's like, because think about it. Because I'm Will Smith. They know Will Smith about to win Best Actor, right? Bong. You got this moment. You could tell they know they had a moment. The way they was the cameras was going back and forth. The camera angle was boom. Chris, Will, Lupita in the back. Jada. You know what I mean?
Lupita looks so goddamn good.
So now they know the internet about to go crazy. So it's like you don't tell Will to leave now.
No way.
Now people want to tune in to see, well, shit, you know the best actor that happened. I need to see what Will's going to say.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to the Oscars, to be honest. I mean, the Oscars won that night.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, like,
I never even knew about the Oscars before.
Yeah, like no one talks about that. I mean, I watch it because I work in media. Yeah. But I will say they had the most like Meg Thee Stallion performance at the Oscars. Like that to me.
My 6-year-old hated that, by the way.
Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce.
My 6-year-old
even
hated that. She thinks Meg ruined that Encanto record. Salute to Meg, you know what I mean? But I'm just telling you what the 6-year-old Screech is saying. The 6-year-old Screech was trying to figure out what was going on. She was like, that's not Encanto.
Right.
Okay. By the way, I've been watching Encanto for a month straight.
Fire?
I don't know.
God.
What
I
is
keep falling asleep. It's a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
It's like the kids love it. And my kids love watching the random Encanto videos. It's too much.
Shout to Jessica Darrow. I did a movie with Jessica. She plays Louisa in that.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.